on this schedule jobs and all
Mm-hmm.
these things. So yeah, I want more hands-on projects to work on more on development side of things. Like LWC, I'm getting trained on like on this trailhead modules and all those FXRs, all those YouTube channels which are present, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like going through, I'm brushing through all those things. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's a good start. It's a good start.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I think, thank you, Vihanna. Thank you for your time. Hi. I think who is this? Hi, Malish. What's your name? Sorry, I can't pronounce. I can't see the full name. Is it? Hi, Malish. Maruti. Hi. Hello. Am I
Hello,
audible?
welcome to Skype call testing service.
Okay. Let's just start with what we're gonna study today. Like what exactly we're gonna do in this particular session and why I'm taking this session. What are the things we're gonna cover? Let's just move into. Jitendra also join. Hi, Jitendra.
Hi.
Hi. So I think you are here for this job ready platform, like real-time Salesforce development, correct?
Yes, I'm not developer, specialist actually.
What are you? Sorry, I couldn't catch you.
Come again. What do you say?
I didn't catch you. Like what you said. No, I didn't got you. So could you please tell me? Hi, Jitendra.
Yes, I'm audible.
Yeah, you are audible, perfectly clear. So could you please tell me about yourself in a one or two line so that everybody will get to know you?
Okay. I am Jitendra Singh, and I am from Pune. I'm working as a marketing cloud specialist.
Uh-huh.
I'm working as a marketing cloud specialist over 2.5 year of experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're already well aware of marketing clouds, correct?
Yes, yes.
But are you aware of Sales Cloud, Service Cloud? What is development
No,
and everything? No?
no. Actually, as of now, what I use, I'm using Content Builder, Automation Studio, and Journey. That's it
Okay,
actually.
okay. So you are in that segment. Understood, understood. So I think this is also for you. I mean, you can understand these things. But I think you do you have any prior knowledge on development segment a bit also? A little bit about
Not exactly. Actually, never. I knowledge, but I never work.
okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So let's just discuss about what we're gonna do. What is this demo session is all about? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so basically, this demo we are doing is for, let's say, job ready. This is a job ready course basically. Whatever we are doing here, and there are a couple of prerequisites you're talking about. And what are those prerequisites? I'm talking about you must have knowledge on admin, not 100%. At least you know couple of terms, like 40 to 50% knowledge is enough. I don't expect you guys to have 100% knowledge on admin. Similarly, in development perspective, one second. In development perspective, I'm talking about front end, I'm talking about back end, I'm talking about database. So in front end, I'm just expecting you guys have at least 30 to 40% everywhere. In back end, also 30 to 40% is enough. Database 50% is enough. Like, this is easy. You can learn in 1 or 2 days at max.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I just expect you guys have at least an average of 40 to 45% knowledge in admin and development segment, and that is enough since we'll be building a lot of projects here together. So meanwhile, you'll learn all those things which are needed. But at least before moving ahead, I don't have to explain every small things. For that, we have a separate course if you want. Yeah, what exactly admin and that is separate. But this particular course is all about job ready program. So what we are doing here, we are building you for. Let's suppose you already done a course. We have a course and you already done that course. For example, I'm just hypothetically taking you. You all of you has already gone through this course where admin and development was there. Now you don't know what to do next. You have
Mm-hmm.
theoretical knowledge, you have couple of hands-on knowledge. Everyone among you have couple of hands-on knowledge. Now the question comes to what to do with this one. When I go to a company, I'm not comfortable or I'm not confident enough what I'll do in this company, whether I'll be able to tackle a certain project or not. How will I handle? How should I communicate with the peers who are available? Directly I approach. If a small company, 20 people are there, you can directly have a conversation. But let's suppose 1,000 people are there in this company. How should you cooperate? What's the best way to do it? If a project is given, how to communicate, how to do, what is a KT session, what are different documentation involved? what are different tools involved. There are a lot of questions comes in your head, correct? Whom to approach, how to approach your project lead, and this and that. Thousands of questions comes in the mind, and also you're not sure whether whatever you have studied is enough for you to tackle a project. A project is given, whether you will be able to handle that project or not. As a shadow worker, as a junior developer, as a senior developer, or as a lead, or whatever job title or job designation is provided to you, correct? There are a lot of questions everyone has. So this particular course which we are doing here is all about that. Now, what do I mean by all about that? There are a couple of segments here. Okay, there are a couple of segments in this project. I'll be covering all those segments one by one. It'll take, like, every segment I'll take 2 minutes. So at max it'll take 10 minutes to 15 minutes to for me to finish this whole thing, and maybe it will be quicker. But what I was trying to say is, so I want to make you everyone and who all are eligible for this particular course. Anyone who is fresher, anyone who has 1 or 2 years of experience but doesn't have project hands-on, only were on deck or in waiting period or something. Those who want to change their career from X to Y, X to Salesforce basically, X domain to Salesforce domain, they can have those who, and also those people who have experience, who are already in the job segment, but they are doing moonlighting kind of things. Like they don't have proper hands-on knowledge. But then also this course is okay because they can learn a lot in that, how the company functions. What all we are learning how a company functions, how a project functions, what are different life cycle of a project. We are learning how you should communicate and what all things you need to know before going to a company. We are learning at the end, after learning these are the basic things which you need to know. Then we'll be going through directly on project. We are not shooting directly to project. We are learning a couple of things before going to the project hands-on. I will be doing 5 projects in this particular course. 5 projects. Okay, in these 5 projects, we are talking about one project which I'll be doing with you guys. I'll be explaining each and every bits and pieces of that project, about what is BRD, how to read that, what is a technical design document or solution design document, how to go through everything, and how I have created everything, what is different kind of context. I'll give everything in this particular project. Once I'm done with this project, once I'll explain everything regarding this project, we also have 4 rest of the project, which these 4 projects will be done by you guys. What I'll be doing, I'll be acting as a client and your team lead also, and I'll be monitoring you guys how to do it, and basically how to go through, how to approach towards a particular project and everything related to a project. So we'll be doing each and every step. So let's just go about what exactly we have in this particular project, in this particular course. Okay, just give me a second. Sorry. Okay. So before going to any company, before you guys are already done with your development and with everything, when you go to any company, if I am the employer, what is the first thing I'll expect? What are the couple of prerequisites which I'll be expecting from my employee? If a fresher is there or any kind of new person is entering my company, what things I need? I expect to, I expect at least that person will have any kind of technical knowledge in terms of the programming language which we are learning, either Apex, maybe good hands-on on Java. Apex is enough. You don't have to go deep into Java. But the people who know Java, it's better for them to understand Apex faster. I mean, let's suppose they are 90% faster than rest of the folks. But after a couple of months, both of the people are at the same position. So it doesn't change much. But I think we'll be expecting technical knowledge. Any kind of company will be expecting what kind of technical knowledge you have. Okay. Couple of tools you need to know. Domain knowledge. Where is Salesforce in the market? What all different, different kind of best practices available for the Salesforce? What all industry are using Salesforce? Do we have finance industry? Do we have healthcare industry? Do we have manufacturing industry, retail industry? Every kind of industry is using Salesforce. Where it is using, what are the new tools they are using? What are the new, updates that are coming in Salesforce? Those things you need to know whenever you're in Salesforce, and those things are common. Pretty much important, and the very first thing you need to know is communication. I think everybody is good at it. If not, then you should be well aware when you're going to any company, you have to be pretty vocal about your stuff, whatever you need, what are the requirements and everything. Whenever a single thing is there, which any kind of presentation you have prepared, any kind of content, you have to explain it to your project lead, or you have to explain it to your project manager, or even higher management, anyone, or maybe stakeholders. You have to be pretty vocal about it. You have to have a good communication. Those are the prerequisites basically. Then what else I'm expecting? This is the basic thing, which is problem solving abilities. These all things are pretty much basic, and it is needed for every employee. You won't be able to use all those things every time, but out of these things you'll be able to use like 30 to 40% in your corporate world. So when we are talking about problem solving skills, these are basic things. You need to have a proper strong analytical and critical thinking skills basically. Teamwork and collaboration, it's like if I'm assigning you to a certain teams where let's suppose a scrum team is of let's suppose 5 people, where one is scrum master and 2 are senior developer, 2 are junior developer, correct? You came as a junior developer, whether you're able to collaborate with every one of them, we're able to have a proper good teamwork or not. That also defines whether you're able, what kind of person you're, whether you're a team player or team leader kind of a person. That's how we find out what kind of person you are. Then whether you have any kind of project management skills or not. In that, we are talking about how to do time management, how to proper resource allocation, whether you have a good skill on resource allocation or not, whether you have proper documentation knowledge or not. These things, time management, resource allocation, documentation knowledge, how to have a proper customer feedback reference, how to handle customer, these things are included in this project management. Okay, a very important thing. If you are, let's suppose 10 people are joining at the same time, if you have this skill, then you are 90% ahead of them in all the segment, correct? And if let's suppose you have these 4 things and you don't have these 2 things or something like that, this is enough. Adaptability and willingness to learn, that's a basic thing where you have to have those kind of craving to learn, correct? And any company are most of the company are looking for the people who are really good and fast to adapt to new technologies and have a good attitude towards learning anything, correct? So this is the basic thing which expected prior knowledge will be expecting. Once you're done with that, people are already checked, okay, you have this checklist done. What all you'll be learning in this course? We'll be learning about different methodologies we are using for project development. Either we are using waterfall model, we are using hybrid model, we are using agile practices. There are a lot of different methodology we use for product development. Here I'll be picking 1 or 2 segment of that. One of that is agile methodology. What we are talking about agile methodologies, whenever you go to a company and a project started, we have something called sprint planning, we have something called sprint retrospection, we have something called sprint grooming, we have something called we assign stories on Jira, we assign stories on Confluence, we assign stories, we have different stories, we have different epics, tasks, stuff like that. There is something called Scrum Master. What all these terms are available? What are these things? Sprint planning, grooming, and those. What are daily stand-up call? What are different terms we have, that is planning, grooming, retrospection, stand-up calls. What is Scrum Master? Those all things. What are agile artifacts? We'll be learning throughout this course. So you'll have a better understanding of what are we talking about, like how to communicate, how would you assign a resource, or how you yourself will be assigned to some story or some task in a particular company, correct? So we'll be learning in depth about agile practices. We'll be learning about even extreme programming also. We'll be learning about the rest of other things also. Okay. So this is all about agile practices which we do, and 90% of the company are doing it. Inside current corporate world, 90% of company are following agile practices. Out of that, 8% are following hybrid model, and 2% are following let's suppose, this is a rough estimate, this is not an exact estimate, again I will tell you, 2% are following waterfall method. So this is something which is available in the market already, so we'll be learning about that. Then once you understood how a story is assigned to you, how a task is assigned to you, how you break down a task in a certain different segment, what all the different processes you use, then the second thing you need to know is different tools which are used in a corporate world. Now what I'm talking about different tools, we are talking about Jira, that is used to assign different story, Confluence where all the documentation is stored and then it is integrated with Jira and you have assignment and everything there. Then we're talking about Teams, what it does, how to communicate with internal members in Teams. There is something called Slack where you can communicate with internal and external users also. You have Outlook, same way we have Gmail, we have Microsoft Outlook for the corporate world we use. There's a lot of things such as that, and you'll be utilizing everything and such. So what all we understood how to assign a task, how you get a task basically. Then we understood how to communicate properly. Okay. Then next thing I need to know how to read documentation and create documentation. Create and read documentation. What are we talking about in terms of documentation? whenever we talk about any kind of documentation segment, we're talking about we got a project from whom? Project from client. Now, how does the client explain what all the requirements are there? So that is something called BRD. We have business required document where all the requirements of this particular clients are listed. Then after the requirement you get from the client, you have something called TDD, which is technical design document. This is created by your, let's suppose you, along with your BA, there is your project lead or a team, a project architect, solution architect. Those people sit together and create it. Then after that, you have something called SDD, which is solution design document. Here, your team lead, project lead, solution architect, everyone sit together and do it. Correct. Once you're done with that, this is your holy grail, basically. Correct. This is something which you follow to do any kind of development in your particular company. So there, so forth. There are also test design document. There's user manual and so on and so forth. We'll be learning throughout the course what exactly each and what are the different roles and responsibility of this particular, documentation and how you should write a documentation. What is RCA documentation? What are different other documentation which are used? So we'll be learning throughout in this particular session. We'll be learning these things at the end. Then once you understood all those things, how to assign a task, how you get a task, and then how to communicate, basically how to read a documentation, all things are done. Now what else is done? You start your development. Correct. You understood, you got a task, then you understood how to communicate to people, you understood how to read a documentation. All these things you have a prior knowledge. Now what else is needed? Now once you start development, how to do development, then we learn about development life cycle. Correct. What is a development life cycle? Basically, what all things are there in development? You do some kind of development, you do testing, then again you do another, let's suppose if there is feedback is there, you do development, otherwise you do UAT testing, then you do again production. A lot of the whole flow. In Salesforce we have something called developer org. Correct. This is for normal free org available for anyone to use. But when you go to any corporate, when you do any kind of development in terms of Salesforce, you have something called, let's suppose, sandbox or dev org. Then we have something called UAT or partial, which is your, whenever you do development here, all the developments are done inside this. Whenever you're good to go, yes, okay, development is done, you move it to UAT or partial sandbox. Here user acceptance testing happens, and in this place all the testing from QA segment happens here. QA will take this task and do all testing. If there is any changes, it is assigned to the dev again, and the dev will do development here and move it to UAT. Once we are good to go from here, QA gives a confirmation of this whole functionality is good to go, then we'll move it to production org, and that is where go live happen. Right. And people are the users started using this particular features which you have developed. Any developer develops. So there is certain development life cycle. Correct. We'll be learning about development life cycle also. Once development life cycle is done, okay, you understood how to do development, then you need to understand how to do deployment as a developer. Correct. Now there is deployment life cycle also. How to do deployment? What are tools you need to know when doing deployment in Salesforce? Basically, we have Ant, we have Chainset, we have rest of other things also available. SFDX we have. Correct. We can do with the help of AWS. There are a lot of things. GitHub also is there for VCS control, and Copado is there. So there are a lot of tools available, a lot of things. So we need to understand about deployment lifecycle also. Once you understand about that, for QA and for dev, this is also important, which is testing lifecycle. Now, how to do testing? What are different type of testings are there? We talk about unit testing. We talk about functional testing. We talk about regression testing. We talk about smoke testing. There are a lot of testing things available. What you need to know a couple of things in that. You need to know unit testing as a developer, basically, not as a QA. As a QA, you need to know all those things. But as a developer, you need to know unit testing, functional testing, and regression testing. These are very important because what you developed, whether this functionality is being used for one unit, for any one use case or not, okay, it is being used. Functionality is working properly properly or not. That's functional testing. Regression, whatever the development you have done and pushed it to production, or even UAT, what all impact it is creating in the existing system. You have to test throughout whole process again, whether whatever the small features which I have developed here, feature one, and this is the whole system. If I'm pushing this particular feature one to this whole system, what kind of impact I'm creating here? If there is any kind of problem you are facing or not, those testing you need to do by yourself, because this is the thing which you've developed, and you know what feature you developed better than anyone else. So you need to do a regression testing once, and same thing you have to give a KT to our QA, and then again the task is given to QA at the second time. But first time you need to do it, correct? So there, these things we need to know. Then a go live knowledge, what happens? Okay, we in Salesforce we have SOWs, that is our sign of agreement, which says the client and our company or any company which you're working for came to an agreement that these all things are needed and these many resources will be allocated. These all licenses of Salesforce we need, and all those pricing and everything happens in SOW. So we are done with this one, and then our development start basically, correct? So we understood about go live. We things are already pushed to production. Go live happens here itself, correct? Once we are done with these things, what else we need to know? We got to understand about what are different kind, how to assign a task, how you get a task, and how you assign it to someone else, correct? That understood. We understood how to communicate to different things. We understood what all documentation need to do. We understood development, deployment, testing. What else is there, sort of? So again, I'll go with what else is there. So if I'm talking about what else is there, we are talking about project handover. Now what happens whenever you are a new person, you are assigned to an existing project. If you are someone who is leaving and you have to give your own task to someone else, some new person of the existing task, that is one thing, correct? So in both contexts, whether you are a person who is coming in, whether you are a new person, or you are shifted from a different project to this project, to this existing project, in this, all three scenarios, let's just one by one, we'll pick one. You're a new person, you're coming to an existing project, you need to know about what your roles and responsibilities are in this new project, correct? So that KT is knowledge transfer, basically your project handover. Someone is handing over a project to you, correct? You have given a certain role and responsibility in this project. Who will give the KT? Maybe your project lead or team lead, or he'll assign some person for you to have a proper KT session and proper project handover session, correct? So that thing is also included here when you talk about. In second scenario, when you're leaving, we'll suppose when you're leaving the company or leaving the project, both are the same scenario. You have to, and someone else, a new person here, NP is coming to your place, you have to explain your roles and responsibility to this new person. Everything, whatever you have done so far, and unless this person is satisfied, they won't even approve your. If you're leaving this company, they won't even approve whether you're okay to leave or not. So those things are also needed. So in project handover and KT session, nothing happened. Let's suppose a project is the existing project is there, a new person is joining, whether in place of someone else or a new as a new support, also doesn't matter. Someone has to give the KT to this person, correct? Project handover, they'll assign all those documentation, BRD, PD, TDD, SDD, all those documentation are given to this person, and if there is any doubt, that person can reach it to their peer or maybe their tech lead, and they'll explain whatever things are there, correct? So that's what KT and handover session are there. Once we understood all these things, correct, once we have a better idea of every segment we are talking about, communication segment, documentation segment, how a project is assignment segment, development, deployment, testing, even project handover and everything. Now I'm a full package here. I know everything about the company. I know how communication happens. I know what all documentation is used. I know about development, deployment, testing life cycle. I know about KT and handover session, everything. Correct. I know about different tools, such as what Jira does, how to create a story, how to create a epic, how to create a task, and all those things. How to assign it to someone else. What are story pointers? What is different estimation, ET, and all those things. Correct. Now, once you understand all these things, the final stage is our project development, which is project hands-on. We'll be doing the project hands-on. Here your 5 project will start. The journey of the 5 project will start. For the first one, I'll be creating BRD, TDD, STD, everything, and I'll be doing along with you guys. You can follow me up, or you can just go through the videos itself. But the rest of the 4 project, I'll be creating different Scrum team. I'll be creating different teams and assigning different roles and responsibility. We'll be doing it on Jira or Confluence. We'll check which one we need to use. Correct. I'll be assigning you story every time, and there is a ETA given to one. So all the things which I'm going to do for the rest of the 4 project will give you same environment, which you will get in any company. So you'll have that kind of experience, whether okay, you know how to work under pressure, you know how what is the deadline, and you know what are the story point. If it is given, it needs to be completed in that particular process. What are different stages of a particular sprint? A sprint consists of, let's say, a 2 week, 10 working days basically. So how to like do build a CI/CD pipeline properly in a sprint time duration, correct? Those all things you'll be learning throughout this course. Okay. And in this project, if you talk about in this project, what all things we'll handle admin segment. Admin, we are talking about flows, we are talking about validation, we are talking about different kind of automations also. We are talking about different page UI UX experience development. We are talking about LWC development. We are talking about backend development, where we talk about Apex triggers, APIs, correct? We're talking about different APIs, whether it is a web service or is a call out. Then we are talking about SOSL and SOQL, that is database segment. We'll be learning about these things also. So in this project, you'll have a full understanding of what Salesforce is, correct? You'll have a better understanding of what Salesforce is. So before moving ahead, I'll have all the questions that I need to. I'm ready for any kind of question, whether you have any kind of question which I've explained so far, or any doubt you have, to let me know. So I'll just start with one by one from each and every one. So is there any question throughout whatever I've explained so far? Any kind of question you guys have? Just tell me and I'm open to it. Anyone? Any kind of question, any kind of query?
Sanjit?
Just
Yeah, hi Vivan. Sorry, Vihana.
yeah, just this projects which will be getting, like it will be on Service Cloud.
So yeah, first thing, Service Cloud or Sales Cloud, that is mostly we'll be doing projects on Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. And Service Cloud, if we are building a project, then I think it'll be on Sales Cloud basically, but of different industry. What I mean by different industry, we'll be doing one on healthcare, we're doing one on finance, industry, retail. Then we're talking about marketing, correct? So different industry, and we'll be doing mostly on Sales Cloud. But if you want a Service Cloud example, we can put that also. We can put a project for Service Cloud also. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Jiten, you were saying something.
You said like a deployment also you in like profile. So in deployment, in sense of like we have to use CI/CD kind of activity, or like what kind of deployment?
So in deployment, when you talk about deployment, there are three segments basically. One, whether you're using Salesforce standard segment, okay, Salesforce SFDC standards, that is our chain set, correct? Or we are doing some kind of tools, which is if I'm using Ant, we are using package-based deployment, or I'm using any VCS and doing building a CI/CD pipeline, correct? There are three different segments. So I'll be explaining about all those three segments, but in this particular project, I'll be doing only one segment, which is the standard one. We'll be taking only chain set, or maybe if I have time, I can explain Ant. But to build a full CI/CD pipeline, there's no point in developer console. If we have a proper project where we have in UAT dev and everything, then it was okay for me to explain those things. But I'll explain what these things are and how to build that. But we won't be doing it in this particular project. I mean, the 5 project which we are doing, in that we won't be using it because we only have one org where we'll be doing all the development, correct? So if you have multiple orgs, then we can think about how to do different deployment steps. I hope this answers your question.
Yes, and you said like there's multiple projects going on. So would you like train to how extract from GitHub and all these things, or it's not
Correct.
required for this?
So, no, it's okay. So if there are multiple projects going on, let's example, see why we were doing 5 projects, we can only do 1 project or 2 projects, and that was enough. So what our thought was, maybe for every industry, you will have a better knowledge of how industry functions. If I'm doing something from manufacturing, you will have a better understanding of what is an OEM, original equipment manufacturer, what is a supplier, what is a retailer, what is a distributor, what is a dealer, what is a consumer or a retailer basically, and at the end consumer is there, correct? So this whole life cycle is of a manufacturing cloud. When you're talking about any finance one, we'll talk about what is a customer onboarding, we'll talk about what is bank of statement, what is different work orders, and all those things. So every industry has different flows, correct? You agree with me? So
yes,
this business flows if you have understanding of 5 different industry vertical, healthcare, different thing is used. For marketing, different thing is used. For, let's say, manufacturing, different thing is used. For retail, different thing is used. So every industry has their own perks, correct, in their
Yes.
own flow. So what we are trying to do in this project, to give you an overview of all those different industry vertical, you will have a better understanding of what we are talking in terms of different projects, different industry verticals. So all these things, see here we have manufacturing cloud, we have let's say service cloud, we have uh, what else, marketing cloud. But in Salesforce, manufacturing, marketing, or healthcare, forget marketing and service, we talk about healthcare and finance. If we have different clouds in Salesforce also, we have manufacturing cloud, health cloud, finance cloud. But all these things nowadays client is using only sales cloud to implement those things. You know why? Any idea?
No.
For manufacturing and marketing or finance, the pricing, if we talk about per person per month wala pricing, it is somewhere around 325 or 300 or maybe 250, above 250 to 300, in between that 350. That is in dollar I'm talking about. But for sales cloud, it is 160 something, 165 or 60 something. So what they are doing is, anyway, to manage this manufacturing or this cloud or that cloud, they need some kind of partner to build it. So that price is already going there, correct? Already I'm giving a price to a partner. Now, along with that, I have to give manufacturing or financial cloud, or if health clear cloud. For this one, I'm per person per user, I'm giving somewhere around 250 to $300. What's the point of that? I'll use sales cloud in that, which has $165 per user per license, and I can tell my partner they can use it like 20% extra, and I can tell them to, okay, build all these features which have manufacturing or financial or healthcare in a sales cloud itself. Nowadays, this is what is happening in the corporate world. That's why Salesforce also fed up and came up with Sales Plus, a manufacturing cloud. Recently, they're gonna come up with this particular cloud where they'll have sales and manufacturing together, and with a little bit, only like $20, $30 extended pricing in that, so that people won't shift it to sales properly, and they'll utilize marketing also a little bit, or marketing, manufacturing also a little bit. So just to give you a brief of different industry, we're using this 5 project. I hope this answers your question. Or any other questions are there, Jitendra?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, Jitendra. Anil, do you have any questions? Okay. Sarath, do you have any question?
No, please continue.
Okay. Swapnil, do you have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. These five projects means LW based, LW component based project, or only for sales and service related?
No. So I told you at the starting, all the 5 projects will have couple of elements. What all elements I'm talking about? There are 3 elements. Admin perspective, we are talking about admin, overall admin, where I'm talking about flows, I'm talking about validation rule, I'm talking about flexi page, page layouts, and all those things, fields, objects, and everything. So we're talking about these things. This will be included. In the development segment, I'm talking about 3 segments: front end, back end. Correct. 2 segment basically. Let's just say front end, where I'm talking about LWC component, 1 or 2 Aura component, or maybe Visual Force pages, VF pages, where we, with the help of which we create PDFs. In any company, we create invoice or order PDF. In the backend, we'll be talking about Apex development, triggers. We're talking about advanced triggers, which is asynchronous triggers. Correct. Asynchronous Apex we're learning. We'll be learning about advanced APIs also. What is a call out? What is a web service? So this is on backend development. In this whole this all features we'll be using in the project. In the database, we're talking about SOSL and SQL. So you'll have a compact knowledge of everything. For that, you need to know what these things are before moving ahead, because I'll be doing a development. I won't be explaining everything in depth. Okay, each and every element I'll be picking in and explaining. No, we are doing development project wise. So I'll be explaining a brief of everything. But if you ask what is SOSS, or of explain me each and every syntax of SOSL, that I won't be doing throughout this course, because these things are before joining this course, there are prerequisites where you need to know at least those things, admin and development a little bit, correct?
Yes,
But
sir.
project-wise, hands-on, we'll be doing all those things. I hope this answers your question, Swapnil. Any other questions?
Yes. What is the duration of this course?
We are expecting it to take it for like what, 6 weeks to 7 weeks.
Okay.
Okay,
I
where
mean,
5 days a week.
okay.
That's what our thought is. Monday to Friday we'll be taking it. But regarding time duration and anything else, I think Sanjeev will drop a poll for you guys to take. I'll be even explaining what are the time duration which I have, and I will be giving a couple of option slots to you, and you guys can pick which is optimal for you guys, and we'll be going for the poll. Which timing will be getting as a most response for, will be opting for that timing. Okay.
Okay. And last question. Any contact detail I need to?
Contact detail as in?
I need to discuss with call.
Okay, so any kind of contact details you need to know. First, I think Sanjit is the best person to contact. I'll even explain him, and he'll drop a message in the group. Whoever who wants to have a communication, I think I'll drop his number right now. If you have any query, you can have a conversation with Sanjit directly. And if there is
Okay.
nothing else, anyway, in that chat, my number is also there. You can connect with me also.
Sure, sure.
If
Thank
he's
you.
not available, then you can have a conversation with me. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any other question, anyone? Vihana, is there any other question? Any doubt you have?
No, sir. Right now, it's fine. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know who the guest user is, but could you please tell me if there's any doubt or everything is good? Okay, I hope things are already sorted. So I think Sanjeet has already given his number here, correct? 77049 46604. So you can have a call, you can have a conversation with him, so that he'll better. Any query regarding the timing, pricing, and all those things, you can have a conversation with him, or any kind of personal talk you need to know regarding what all the courses are there and all those things. Sanjit is the best person to have a communication with, correct? Hi, Aman. Aman, right? Hi, Aman. If that's your name. Aman, right? Aman Hussain. Hello. Am I audible, Aman? Okay. Let's just, okay. I think this is where I want to wrap up, because I've already explained what is this course is all about and what all things we'll be learning. And I think I have taken all your questions. If there's any other question, you can shoot it out. Other you can even drop that particular question in the WhatsApp group. Don't worry. Once you're confirmed whether you're a part of this particular course or not, we'll be creating a separate group where you won't have to go through these different, hassle bombardment of all those different courses and all that. There'll be separate group for this particular course, so you won't have any kind of problem there. That will be providing. If there's no other questions, I'll be ending this particular session here itself. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Viana. Thank you, Swapnil. Thank you, Anil. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice
Thanks
day.
a lot.
Yeah.